let's start with Math Hoffa. Everybody's familiar with him, I believe, for the podcast, for his show, right? So
somewhat.
I think he has great product. The barbershop setting, I think he does a great job with it. The guests are dope. Good conversation. But he signed a deal with Revolt, and a couple of his co-hosts, I think it was Esso and Heineken, came out and said that he's allegedly signing the deal and wants to keep all of the quote-unquote $2.7 million deal and not share it. So they broke the podcast up. Now, we went through this with the disputes with Joe Budden, with Mal and Rory, is right? Is his name Rory?
Yeah.
Rory. So my question is this a hip-hop thing? Because I don't see, and hip-hop podcasts have more exposure. They're out, because they have artists that come on. But
we know them.
We know the people that we know.
You know, in some places, the Steve O's podcast is just as big as Math Hoffa.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Fair point. But what I'm saying is the concept of podcasts growing and getting to the bag, and then issues start to happen.
No, I think that we notice it more because that's where we
reside.
Where we
We're
are.
in that
You know what I'm
space.
saying? You don't pay attention to things that don't directly affect you or that you're not interested in. So it goes over your head. It's almost like it never happened.
Right.
It's like people can say, for lack of a better example, Kanye did this and they took his stuff down, but they didn't do it to this other person. That's one example. You know what I'm saying? You're not paying attention to everybody else. You just seen they took his stuff down, and then the next one that came up that there was an issue with, you think they're supposed to do that just because.
Maybe
it doesn't work that way. It's just you're not paying attention to that.
That's a good point, and it also kind of goes to, we were talking about the Tribe Called Quest documentary, how people grow apart, and it's kind of
that was
crazy.
more organic. This is about the math. Like,
I mean, it's about,
well, I got $2.7 million, and I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening.
No, but this is allegedly. But
yeah.
Just the concept of a team growing and growing and growing, and then at some point something happening. With Rory and Mal, and then in this one, it's like these are two instances that are hip hop related that's focused around the bag. Everything goes to, they look like they had a great podcast. I've watched Joe Budden. Chemistry was dope. But as soon as the bread started becoming an issue, everything explodes. And to Terry's point, I never thought about it because we're in that space, but I just don't hear about, I'm trying to give you guys.
I mean, this is a situation where fair is fair, though. If you're getting offered $2.7 million based on the brand being your name, but I'm part of the brand, naturally you're supposed to include me in that.
Right.
Now, people do things like having contracts and things in order beforehand so that that's not an issue. But I mean, even if you didn't have that, if you have somebody that's riding with you and have been riding with you up to that point, you would expect, hopefully, that they would know to do the right thing. But
I guess, and this could also could be a part of what I pay attention to. But even the sports podcasts that we see, and some of them that you watch growing, when they level up, or there's a change or a shift in the bread, or a new set or new whatever, I don't see it like I see it as it relates to rap. Still in the podcast space, but it's sports related. So I don't know if this is just a rap thing, or I'm that's my thing.
People break up every day, B.
Got me there.
Look,
my walks of life.
The thing is, a lot of times we may not know all the particulars, and maybe it'll come out a little bit later. But people see $2.7 million deal, and they're
that's
like,
a big number.
It's a big number.
That's a big
number. But they don't understand the $2.7 million that has to go into production.
Yeah,
that has to go into the branding.
Preach.
Like that you just don't get a check for $2.7 million and like, hey, I made it.
Perception says that. Yep.
I know, but it's the same thing to like when we talk about when people sign $1 million record deal. You just don't get a check for $1 million and now you're famous and now you get to put out and be on the Grammy show. Like that $1 million goes into your videos, that goes into your studio time, that goes into your promotion. And by the time you get done with that, you are in a position to where you might have to ask the company for some more money, or at least at another time when records were selling. Now that records don't sell, they don't even care about that.
Smooth Hoosier says some people just greedy. He also says, imagine Major 7 getting $2 million from a sponsor and not busting it down with y'all.
There's no way he could handle this show by himself.
Yeah, because that's what would have to happen. All right, Major 7, here you go.
I sure couldn't.
You're gonna be the new old head.
Talk your talk.
Yeah, I would talk it.
Sitting here for an hour.
It'll be at a kitchen table. We'll be recording on my cell phone.
He'll be on there the whole time. All y'all just rich.
Yep.
Y'all eating sandwiches and stuff. Rich. Got money.
And it'd be sitting at a kitchen table on a cell phone. That's the production level.
Yeah.
Sure would.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Lone?
I mean, the only two examples of that I even know of where hip hop podcasts don't work out are the two that you mentioned.
We talked
so
about.
It's like, is that even really a big enough sample size to even say that that's a hip hop thing? That would be my thing.
Point.
But two, I mean, I don't know who's a part of the Math Hoffa podcast. I don't know if are there just a bunch of people that sit on there and interject with whoever Matt. Like I said, I've seen.
Honestly,
clips,
I kind of know who the guys are, but like
Heineken and Esso are two people that are always with him when they bring someone else in. So there's kind of like a co-host type vibe.
I see.
They're usually there for the most part, but now they're just breaking up.
So they're just splitting it up, and Matt Hoffa's just taking it.
He's doing his thing and taking whomever he wants to take with him, from what I understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
crazy.
Kind of to Jay's point too. You know, you don't know what people do behind the scenes as well. You know,
and he's not honoring the claim either.
And what people?
Why would he? And because honestly, we don't. Everything. The ink is dry on that because it's his IP. I am Math Hoffa. This is Math Hoffa's show.
Yeah.
Whatever. I can't remember what the name of the show is. Whatever it is. But like, because it was a lot clearer when it was Joe Budden. This is the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
And
it's called My Expert Opinion.
My Expert Opinion. Okay. Shout out to that.
But I guess my point is, you don't know. Like, all right, so there's a difference in different things. We've evaluated this with the show. I have behind the scenes and stuff, and we've talked about this and how the show splits up multiple different ways, because when you think about it, there's different types of jobs that goes into being a podcast if you're just kind of doing it pro bono or on a low budget or even not a huge budget, right? So you have the talent that shows up and does the talent things, which is talk on the microphone, right? Then you have everybody that does everything behind the scenes as well.
Right.
Do these other people just show up and not do anything else? There's probably, is there a ton of value in that? Maybe if they're a big enough name. Like I feel like Rory and Mal, there was definitely value there.
I agree.
But these other guys, I know of Matt Hoffa, and I know that there's one guy that sits in this chair, and then there's a whole bunch of people around that seem like they just, every once in a while,
I think it's like random people that be in there too.
Yeah, so it feels like, and I just don't.
It always feels like there's a bunch of people in there every time.
It always is. It's even people back in the cut behind the barber chairs.
That's what I mean. So
like over by the doors.
There's different types of value within things. So in Joe Budden's case, maybe he felt like he was. I don't know their deal, so I can't even speak on it. But maybe Matt Hoffa, it's Matt Hoffa, right?
Math Hoffa.
Math. That's right, Math Hoffa. Sorry. Maybe he just does everything, and the other guys are just there every once in a while. So maybe there's no value for him on these I don't know. I don't know.
And I know this sounds like rough, and I said this when Joe Budden and they were going through their whole thing. You got to understand who the lead singer is.
Yeah.
Math Hoffa is the lead singer. The other guys, like what Big Red said in the 5 Heartbeats, are replaceable.
That's what he said.
It sounds harsh, but it is what is it. Like, I didn't know until like maybe a month ago when we were talking about something else. I didn't know Rory and Mal had a podcast situation. Because I still listen to.
It's pretty decent.
I still listen to and watch the clips from Joe Budden because it's the one podcast that's more than an hour long that I can enjoy.
I'm not gonna cap. Rory and Mal is straight though. They got a good.
Nice I mean, if they got, I'm happy for them. But like I said, Joe
Money
Budden
definitely changes things. Though.
Joe Budden was the lead singer on the Joe Budden podcast. Yeah. I've always said that, like with us, we are doing 4-part harmony here.
Yeah,
when with our show, like because if one of us is out, the show goes on.
Yeah,
if Joe Budden if Math Hoffa doesn't show up to My Expert Opinion, they don't have a show that week.
And it's more than likely an episode where I'm gonna be like, I think I'll pass.
Yeah, they'd be like, Joe's not here today. I'll be like, well, I'm not listening.
Unless Lone is on the show, then I'm gonna watch it. I'm saying,
be a great watch.
Because I don't even know if we even put it out as an official episode. It was like. It was one
just
week where it was just a two. We put out some clips, but it wasn't really. It wasn't an episode.
Yeah,
what was Big Red's hours?
9 to 5, Jack.
All right, I was just checking.
Yeah, I feel like we've done a really good job of, and this is something that I've always kind of wanted. It's something that I've wanted even long term. Not until like almost now, have we even been in a position to where we could do the show without me at all?
Yeah.
You know, but my goal has always been with this for it to be interchangeable.
We're about to find out, perhaps.
We'll see. But, you know, just, you know, like we can all do
Angela
it.
Yee is coming over.
Yeah, we're gonna have her come over and feel. If she come over and get too comfortable, man, it might be. You know, we still love you, but Angela Yee, you get comfortable. Can we add her?
I mean, look, man, this is at the end of the day.
Yeah, good luck with that.
This is my living room.
I feel you.
But I would say
we don't have the coin for Angela.
we don't.
But what I would also say is that I'm also perfectly fine, like not being on the show.
Well, me knowing you, I can see that.
I feel like I add a nice contrast.
You're actually a fan.
Cue your soundbite.
Yeah,
It's somewhere on here. I don't even know. I don't really care to push that right now.
Yeah,
well, at least you said it.